Hey guys, Charl here from worshipguitarskills.com, back again with another video for you. So one question we get a lot is, how do you actually come up with guitar parts, whether it's rhythm guitar parts or lead guitar parts? You know, everybody wants to find a way to come up with their own parts, and that is what we're going to cover in this video and the following two videos. So what I've done is we've taken The Battle Belongs by Phil Wickham, and I've just come up with guitar parts. These are not the exact parts as the album, because normally when you get the albums, it's all layered parts anyway, right? So these are an approximation of what I would do when we play the song. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play the rhythm guitar part as well as a lead guitar part, so you can see how these two parts work together. We'll do a quick breakdown in this video of what I did there, and in the following two videos I'll show you in more detail what I did, why I chose the parts, the voicings that I used, the rhythms that I played, along with some of the other techniques. Alright guys, and if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and you'll get notified when we release the more detailed breakdowns of the parts you're about to see. Alright guys, let's jump right into the guitar parts that I put together for The Battle Belongs by Phil Wickham. Alright, so there you go. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, these aren't the exact parts, right? All I did is I basically gave myself what I call a constraint. For the first part, I wanted to be focused more on the lower part of the neck, and the second part, I played some more lead guitar lines. So if you've got two guitarists in your worship team, of course, you can split these parts up like you want. Or if you just a single guitar, you can learn both of these parts. I probably wouldn't play the lead guitar part on its own the whole time because it lacked some body, but you can play the low part, and at times you can bring in the higher parts for some melodic interest. All right, so let's look at the first part, which was all focused around power chords for the most part. All right, so for a part like this, it just started with the D flat, which is a simple power chord, but I used kind of a syncopated rhythm. And then I just followed the chords there, right? So if you listen to the song rhythmically, there's quite a lot happening in the piece. So from a guitar point of view, I want to support that rhythm, and then I just use chords to fatten things up, and then obviously follow the chords along. Like I said, we've got another video coming up where I'll go into great detail to show you the exact voicings and so forth. But for now, we're just doing a quick overview. Right, so nice and simple, just a D flat, and because the verse is quite big, so just be careful for open strings that because they're not going to sound good in the key of D flat, right? Now, when we go to the verse, it's very important for you as a guitarist to be able to pull back, yet retain the kind of ideas that you've been working on. So what I did in this case, when we went to the verse, I started using palm muting because we start nice and big, but then we drop the dynamics down for the verse. So I did. All right. Basically, as you know, drums, right? They put the accent on 2 and 4, so that's kind of this: 1E and 2 and a 3E and 4 and a 1E and 2 and a 3E and 4. So I've still got that rhythmic movement happening, but then I've got that accent on 2 and 4. All right, so that's a D flat. The G flat is just down a string, but then I went. Okay, just. If you think of a kind of from elevation worship, using that kind of movement there. So that's all I'm doing. And a little hammer on like that, it fits with the harmony, and it just adds a bit of spice and a bit of movement and rhythmic interest, right? So there we go. That was the D flat and the G flat. Then I went to B flat minor, which I just played the power chord. That's quite nice to use octaves in your playing. And all I did is I did an ascending line, right? So it started on a B flat, C, D flat, E flat, and then the G flat power chord, and then just the same thing again for the verse. So you can see what's happening here is I'm not limiting myself to just playing G flat, B flat. You know, that gets a bit boring. There's a place for that sometimes to play these long big chords that kind of act like glue. But in this case, I've got some bouncy rhythms happening there. I've got my palm muting, my delay is adding some nice texture to that. And then as the song builds, I've got the ascending line of the octaves, right? Of course, it doesn't quite go into the chorus because we repeat the verse. But after that, it's just a double bar in the G flat. And then we have a down chorus. Pay attention to the dynamics, right? So it sounds like I'm building to go big, but then we don't. We go to a down chorus, which was this. Okay, how cool is that? Just two strings, but with palm muting. And then I'm adding the accents. All right, nice and simple. I'm just following the chords. There's a 2/4 bar before I go into the intro again, which is, of course, and then we're back into the verse, which we've already looked at. Then when we go to the big chorus, this time we went. Then I can go nice and big with the chorus. Now, I could have played G flat over there, but for me, that just gets a bit muddy when you play in that register, so I prefer an inverted G flat like this, and then A flat, or actually D flat, and then A flat inverted, and B flat inverted. Okay, we'll go into the details of these voicings if you want to check what they are in the following video, but that was basically just the chorus chords with a nice syncopated rhythm. All right, and then there was a tag, and then for the down bridge, use these 4/2 voicings. Again, just following the chords, and it's up to you whether you want to use a volume pedal or your volume control to play those swells. Right, so after I play the 4/2 voicings twice, we're building the bridge, and then I'm bringing back this idea that I introduced earlier. Okay, that's kind of cool because I introduced that 16th note pattern with the accent on the 2 and the 4 earlier, so I'm just developing that further with the bridge. And then when the bridge opens up, again, I've got to have something else to go to. So then I'm adding a third part. Right, so as you can see, we start nice and open. Then I build it a little bit. Obviously longer on the chords, and then the third time, then as you can see, we're like really up there. The mistake that some guitarists make when they compose parts is they play the same thing the whole time and they're ignoring the dynamics of the band. All right, you've got to add into the dynamics, and we'll talk about this in more detail in the breakdown, but you can add dynamics rhythmically speaking, you can add dynamics harmonically speaking, like I'm doing here, and you can add into the dynamics melodically speaking. So rhythm, harmony, and melody, those are your 3 building blocks, and you can grow your parts in any one of those 3 or a combination, right? And that is when it gets really, really fun. Then after this, we're just into a big chorus and an outro. So in short, that is the rhythm guitar part. Let's look at the lead guitar part. All right, so for the lead guitar part, we were on a D flat octave over here. Okay, just doing that sus4 type of movement there. It's as simple as that. Nothing to it. Nice octaves. Pay attention to your string muting. We'll break it down in great detail in one of the upcoming videos. Then for the verses, I played the same note throughout the whole time. I just stayed on this one note, the 6th fret, the whole time for the verse, because that kind of a thing is cool when everything else changes, but the one guitar part stays the same. All right, that was kind of cool. And then for the chorus, the down chorus, I just did simple swells. And then you can experiment a little bit with how you want to phrase that, but those were just simple, long ringing notes. Then we're back into the intro again. And then we're back to that verse, 1E and a 2E. So the fact that it's the technical term is an ostinato, which is a repetitive rhythmic pattern. All right, so I'm keeping that repetitive rhythmic pattern just with that one D flat note, which happens to work over all of the chords. All right, nice and simple. And then we just grow that. And then for the chorus, I decided to play like a big lead line. Okay, just as a kind of a big singing line. It's not widdly the whole time. It's a line that someone would be able to sing, and that was basically that, right? When we went to the bridge, then my 2/4 voicings. We had a G flat, a D flat, an A flat, B flat minor, A flat, and then I just went play the higher note of each of these voicings. So as you can see, it's the same notes as the high. I just used the higher notes. And then remember, I want to build it. And then I went to my polyrhythmic pattern with octaves. Okay, now for that section, I could have kept it simple with one note, but I decided to do this. And then I just played that, went back into a big chorus after that. All right, and when it's the big chorus, of course, we just had our line, right? Now this video is getting quite long. I will do a detailed breakdown of both the rhythm guitar part and the lead guitar part in the upcoming videos, but you've now heard what these two parts sound like together, and I've given you some tips around composing these parts. So if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of what notes were used where and why they worked the way they did, that is what we're going to break down in the following video. So if you enjoyed this, guys, leave a comment. Let us know what your favorite part was, and let us know if what other areas you need some help with when it comes to composing guitar parts, and then we'll happily go ahead and film some new videos for you guys. So again, if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.